Oh, and he's coming. So it is my honor, it is my privilege to introduce what everybody's here today is for, right? And welcome.
Door. You can't see it from over there. What's the fire code in this place? Where is that -1? Yang Gang's magic like that. Thank you, Iowa. I can't tell you how great it is to be back here. This is my 23rd time back in this state, and it feels like home. And it feels like home every single time. I love being here because you all have the future of the country in your hands. This is just about the only place we can actually turn the tide and start fixing our problems. Because most of the country, they look up and they think their vote doesn't matter, the government's set up pipes is clogged with lobbyist cash, hundreds of millions of dollars, and they look up in despair. But what they don't realize is that the hope is right here with the people of Iowa. You are the hope, and I have to say, you're just about the only hope for the rest of the country. That's one reason why the president is here over and over again, seeking your support. I did the math. Do you know how many Californians each of you is worth? 1,000 Californians each. That's right, Iowa. So if there are 200 of you here today, that's like 200,000 Californians. That's 5 football stadiums. No, that's the power that you all have. That's the magic. That's why I love this place. You come here and it's so humid. Democracy still works. Votes still matter. The question is, what are you going to do with your votes? What are you going to do with your power? And many of you today went the extra mile because you said, I'm not just going to vote. I'm going to go and talk to my friends and neighbors. How many of y'all canvassed today? Yeah, and I got the scoop. 2 of you were the top canvassers of the day. You knocked on almost 100 doors each. So where are Lisa? Lisa and Brad, where are you at? Brad, Lisa, you got someone? So, Lisa and Brad, come on up. Where are you at? They're still knocking on doors. Instead of celebrating my work, I'm going to go do some more work. That's the Yang Gang spirit. That's the love. Also, someone here got their door knocked on and said, I'm going to go check it out. Is that you? It's cool. She was like, let's go where this thing was.
And your commercial came on the TV.
Oh, wow, that's great. That's amazing. He's like, no way, that guy's right down the street. I'm gonna go check that out. That's one of the fun things about being in Iowa too, is that, so here's the downside. You get bombarded by political ads. That's the downside. But then the upside is like that person will then just like march into your local bar or living room and be like, hey, I'm here too. The funnest thing about the commercial was that my wife Evelyn got to be included, because that was like the best thing. Yeah, she's gonna make one tremendous first lady, and I'm very happy. And whenever anyone thanks me for running, I say, thank my wife. 1, because she let me run, and 2, because she's the one who's sacrificing more for the family. Because it's very, very hard to raise 2 kids, one with special needs in any circumstance, and it's even harder when your husband's on the road 80% of the time. And FaceTime's not the same thing, so when someone thanks me, I say, thank my wife. And it's great that she's now on the trail with me, though she's not here right now, as you can tell. I don't have her hiding in the back or anything. So Dawn, I'm so thrilled you decided to come with me and check it out. That makes me so happy. Oh, is there someone else there? You should wave too?
It's Heidi.
No,
I can, Mr.
Yes.
Two.
Heidi, Yang for bets, Amy, and Fu Yang, Mr. Yang.
Yeah.
Also have
Awesome. Is that Lisa, or did you actually stop knocking doors to come celebrate? Got it. So the question is, what are you going to do with your power? How are you going to move the country forward? And the fact is, Iowa in some ways is the perfect place to start the wave, to start the revolution, because you've seen what's happening more clearly than just about anyone. You see how your economy, your communities are transforming before your eyes. It started on your farms. Remember when it used to be family farms, they got gobbled up by the conglomerates? Used to be people working on those farms, and instead now it's machines. Then it started migrating to your factories. You lost 40,000 manufacturing jobs, and towns went from blue to red. Shopping centers again went dark. I've been to these towns. I've seen the aftermath. I spent 7 years staring at the aftermath of the automation of manufacturing jobs in my role as CEO of Venture for America. I started a nonprofit that helped create thousands of jobs, but I saw that the changes were much bigger and nastier. So it started at your farms, it went to your factories, and now it's on your main streets. How many of you noticed stores closing where you live here in Iowa? Yeah. And why are those stores closing? Amazon. Amazon, that's right. She said no money, which is pretty much the same thing. Amazon soaking up $20 billion in business every single year. How much did Amazon pay in federal taxes last year? 0! That is your math, Iowa. 20 billion out, 0 back. Most common job in your state is retail clerk. Average retail clerk's a 39-year-old woman making between $9 and $10 an hour. What is she going to do when the store closes? The rubber really hits the road when the robot trucks come. My friends in California say they're 98% of the way there. 2% is a very big error rate. You can't have semi-trucks smashing into things at 2% levels. But yeah, mostly right. Trucks so that's a big gap. But their incentives to close that gap are cost savings of $168 billion a year from automating truck driving. And that's not just labor, that's fuel efficiency, that's equipment utilization, because the trucks never need to stop. They'll drive 24/7. If you bet against the robot trucks, you're betting against $168 billion a year. And the assembled intellectual might of hundreds of the smartest engineers in our country. They're not fighting to improve our lives, they're fighting to make the system, the machine, more efficient. And at some point, the machine and humanity diverged. There was a point in the 1980s where the line started to separate. Before then, if a company became really big and profitable, it would need to hire lots of people, it would need to give those people benefits, it would need to invest in its own backyard. Now, none of those things is true. You can have a big company that does not hire lots of people. If it hires them, doesn't give them benefits, 94% of the new jobs in this economy are temp, gig, or contract jobs. Think of Uber drivers. And they don't care about what happens in their own backyard because they sell everywhere and nowhere. Right now, GDP and corporate profits are at record highs, also at record highs in the United States of America. Anxiety, depression, stress, suicides, drug overdoses, mental illness. It's gotten so bad that our life expectancy has declined for 3 years in a row. Do you know the last time America's life expectancy declined for 3 years in a row? The Spanish flu of 1918. You have to go back 100 years to a global pandemic that killed millions to find a time in American history where our life expectancy declined for 3 years in a row. It is not normal for life expectancy to decline once in a developed country. It's supposed to go in just one direction. It's going the other way. Corporate profits continue to rise. You see the problem, Council Bluffs, where the system now does not serve us. What we have to do is we have to take control of it, rewrite the rules. Someone get this man some water.
Andrew Yang!
Andrew Yang! Andrew Yang! Andrew Yang! Andrew Yang! I don't know what I do without people chanting my name all the time. I walk out and I'm like, I can't get the mail like this. So we have to get control of our government, rewrite the rules of the 21st century economy to work for us, to work for our people. Get the measurements right. Instead of measuring corporate profits, we should be measuring our kids' education rates, mental health and freedom from substance abuse, clean air and clean water, our own health and life expectancy, access to water.
Hydration is key.
These are the measurements that will actually move us forward. And I know if you're here today, you heard at one point there's an Asian man running for president who wants to give everyone $1,000 a month. Remember that? And the first time you heard that, you thought it was a gimmick, you thought it would never happen. But this is not my idea. Thomas Paine was for it at the founding of the country, called it the citizen's dividend. Martin Luther King, whose son I just met with in Atlanta 2 days ago, fought for it in the 60s, called it the guaranteed minimum income, and it is what he was fighting for when he was assassinated in 1968. It passed the U.S. House of Representatives twice in 1971 under Nixon. It's called a Family Assistance Plan. And then 11 years later, one state actually passed a dividend where now everyone in that state gets between $1,000 and $2,000 a year, no questions asked. And what state is that? Alaska! And how do they pay for it? Oil! And what is the oil of the 21st century? Technology! Technology, AI, data, self-driving cars and trucks. A study just came out that said that our data is now worth more than oil. How many of you saw that study? How many of you got your data check in the mail? We laugh, but where did the data checks go? Facebook, Amazon, Google, and the giant tech companies that pay zero or near zero in taxes. That is their game, Iowa. And whose fault is it that they're paying zero in taxes? Is it their fault? No. No, it's our fault. And it's up to you to fix it. You're not going to believe this, but you are the only ones in the entire country who can fix it. They bought and sold our government over and over again. That's why you don't hear about this stuff. You're like, what? How does $1 trillion tech company pay less in tax than everyone in this room? Does that make sense to anyone here? No. Of course not. What it reminds me of is, who here voted for the $4 trillion bailout of Wall Street?
Not me.
No one. We didn't vote on that. Remember that? They were like, and did you ever hear them say, I don't know where we're going to get the money to bail out these banks? Remember that conversation? No. Remember anyone being like, oh, I'm worried about what the bank's going to do with the money? Like, none of that. It is our time, Iowa. It is your time. The power you have, I know it doesn't feel like it because you're just living your lives, you know, going about your business, but the power you have is historic. The rest of the country is looking to you to make a stand and to turn the tide on all of our behalf. That's the magic of this place. And the wonder of it is not only do you have this power, but your friends have this power, your family members have this power, if they're in Iowa. If they're not in Iowa, then less so. But if they're in Iowa, your neighbors, like anyone in Iowa has this power. It does not take to put this country on a whole new path. I love it. Anytime I land here, I feel superpowered because you all are superpowered. The question really is, how are we going to use that power? Are we going to put the country on a new way forward?
Yeah.
Are we going to let the rest of the country know it's not left, it's not right, it's forward? Because if you don't make this move, what happens over the next 4 years? Your stores start closing, the AI gets smarter, the robot trucks get closer to the highways, McDonald's gets the self-serve kiosks, not just in the front of every restaurant, but in the back with the robot burger flippers and the fry cookers and the rest of it. We have 4 more years of that, and we have to make it so that the economy starts working for us, starts working for you. I've got 2 kids myself, Christopher and Damien, who are 7 and 4, one of whom is autistic, and I see the future we are leaving for them. It is not something I'm willing to accept, and you should not accept it either. But unlike everyone else in the country, you can do something about it. Are you going to do something about it, Iowa? Yeah! We need your help. We need your help not just to commit to caucus on our behalf, but you got to get some other magical superpowered Iowans on board. Doesn't take that many of you, but we need to keep spreading the word over the next 2.5 years in the days to come. I love it. You know why we know it works? Because Dawn's here. Well, let's put up a Dawn chant. Let's do it. Sorry to embarrass you, Dawn. That's good fun. You're like, oh, I just agreed to come to sing. Donald Trump's our president in part because he got some of the problems right. He said he was going to make America great again. What did Hillary Clinton say in response in 2016? America's already great. Remember that? It didn't work. It wasn't quite right. We have to acknowledge the depth and severity of the problems. They are real. But then we need real solutions that would actually make our families and our people stronger. What were Donald Trump's solutions? He said we're going to build a wall, we're going to turn the clock back, we're going to bring the old jobs back. I know we have to do the opposite of these things. We have to turn the clock forward. We have to accelerate our economy and society as quickly as possible. We have to evolve in the way we think about ourselves and our work and our value. And I am the ideal candidate for that job because the opposite of Donald Trump is an Asian man who likes math. Thank you all. What does math stand for? Make America think harder. That's right. And that is how we are going to make history together next February 3rd, and take the whole country in a whole new direction. Thank you all.
Everybody,